Hey there, welcome back to the Enclosure Institute. I'm Phil Taylor.
And I'm Jimmy Budd. And today we're going to talk about the kinds of enclosures that need to be sealed and why.
We'll primarily focus on enclosures for electrical devices.
Electronic enclosures contain the brains that make something work as intended. In other words, they're control boxes.
Control boxes, so let's give them some examples.
Okay, how about a programmable logic controller?
Good, and I'm thinking of an audio or visual controller for lighting or audio equipment.
Yeah, and security controllers that activate and deactivate security systems.
What about sensors?
You bet. Sensors are controllers and need to be sealed, like photo eye sensors.
Yeah, and vibration and pressure sensors too, right?
Absolutely. And light sensors?
Okay, and don't forget about enclosure cabinets for IT and data centers.
Definitely. And think about all the electronic equipment that functions outdoors. These have to be sealed well because they're exposed to weather and other elements.
Yeah, like solar energy control boxes or junction boxes.
Yeah, pump panel enclosures and water flow systems.
And all kinds of marine equipment.
That's right. And don't forget about telecommunication equipment.
Smart meters for utilities.
And just think about all the outdoor lighting, like architectural floodlight.
Parking lot lights, landscape lights.
Warning lights, beacon lights.
Okay, my head is spinning.
I know. And think about medical devices. So many healthcare devices are electronic enclosures.
Oh yeah, I imagine myself walking through a hospital, patient monitors, blood pressure monitors, defibrillators, ultrasound machines, medication dispenser.
And we haven't even touched on transportation.
Oh man.
Headlamps, taillights,
EV battery enclosures,
EV charging stations,
vehicle displays, LiDAR sensors.
and so much more. There are so many devices that depend on a good seal.
That's true. So now let's discuss why all these things need to be sealed.
Well, first of all, we have to seal out contaminants such as dust, dirt, or other debris that could interfere or pollute the electronics within. The seal almost always has to block intrusion by water or other fluids. Even moisture or humidity, in many cases, can be the kryptonite to electronic devices. But that's not the only reason to seal the enclosure. Sealing electronics within the enclosure can protect people and other devices in the vicinity of the equipment from electrical shock or other physical harm. The seal may also be designed to prevent the escape of EMI or RF interference from the device.
So if a seal fails, it can be game over or at least big trouble. And no designer wants their product to fail quickly, easily, or prematurely. So the design team almost always wants a seal that's robust, durable, and compliant.
Speaking of compliant, almost all electronic devices need to meet well-defined standards to be approved for use in certain applications or functions. These are industry standards that are recommended or required for all similar and competitive products, regardless of who manufactures them.
Okay, so let's discuss some of the key organizations that set these standards and test procedures. The first is NEMA, or the National Electrical Manufacturers Association. NEMA is a trade association in the U.S. whose members are electronic equipment manufacturers. Among other things, they set standards or establish tests and the required results for electrical enclosures in regards to the efficiency and effectiveness of the device's seal.
Another well-known organization is the International Electrotechnical Commission, or IEC. It's similar to NEMA, but as their name implies, the IEC is international in scope. NEMA and IEC standards don't align perfectly, but we'll talk more about that later.
A third organization for us to consider is UL Solutions, who used to call themselves Underwriters Laboratories. Most of us old-timers simply know them as UL. I used to think that they were only concerned with fire safety and flame tests. That's not the case.
Yeah, they're actually a global not-for-profit organization that writes and conducts all kinds of safety and quality tests in-house, including tests for the sealing function on electrical equipment.
Finally, there's the Canadian Standards Association. The CSA is similar to UL Solutions and is especially important if you want to sell your electronic products in Canada or other international locations.
So I guess the message to take away at this point is that while there are many things to consider when designing an enclosure, the first is to establish which industry standards your device must meet or pass before it can be released to the market.
In our next video, we'll take a deeper look at each of these organizations and the standards that they set.
And we'll share some available tools to clarify and explain the standards and ratings.
So that's it for today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Phil Taylor.
And I'm Jimmy Budd. See you next time.